since we have been on and off and on and off.
I think it's the network, sir.
Yeah, it's the network. I don't know. I have to go back to use my MTN. I started off with my SpectraNet because I recharged it today. But I don't know, as I just decided to switch over to MTN again. Okay, so I know by virtue of your work, you know what assessment is.
Yes, sir.
And assessment occupies a vital position in the process of teaching and learning, certification, acquiring knowledge and skills, whether
Yes,
it's a conventional system of education or it's ODL system. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, assessment in ODL is conducted for the following reasons, really. Now, one, to provide feedback to learners.
Yes, feedback.
Starting from assignments to term-end exams, to get an idea about what they are really doing and what they're supposed to do to complete the program. Now, some of us are still arguing with the university that your TMAs are not supposed to be just CBT TMAs. In fact, that's what decided to call them now, because the name tutor marked assignment means they are to be marked by the teacher and they are to be given back to the students, and you have to make explanations so that the student will know why, if he is scored wrong, why he is wrong, if he is scored right, why he is right. Do you get the idea?
Yes, sir.
Some of us are actually still arguing with them that even if we are using a computer test, we can still make it to give assessment. But until they hear what we are saying, we will continue to do what we have been doing.
Okay.
Now, to reach a summative evaluation based on formative assessment, which helps learners to determine their performance at every stage of their study. And okay, while it will give us a summative assessment evaluation at the end, the formative assessment will help us to gauge whether students are learning at each stage. Yeah.
Yes.
Now, assessment in ODL is not only meant for students to earn a grade. It is helpful for monitoring the effectiveness of academic programs and adopting appropriate strategies to accomplish instructional or institutional objectives. Yeah. So actually, most of the time we don't use our assessment for what it is meant for. By the time you begin to see a lot of students failing a particular course, attention should be drawn to that course. We should want to decide what is wrong with the course. Why are students failing en masse? Now, the process of assessment in ODL is not only for certifying students, it also impacts their learning environment and help learners to develop a positive attitude towards the institutional system. Now, sometimes when we do assessment, in fact, in most I'm an ex-student of Open University of Malaysia, and I know that at a point in time I was asked to assess my course.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and such reports goes back to the institution to make changes depending on students' response to the evaluations. So normally there should have been, in ODS system, we expect that there should be built-in mechanism whereby students are able to assess their lecturers or teachers and facilitators. Now, assessment is likely to result in promotion and improvement of learning when three conditions are met. The outcomes being tested must be recognized and accepted as important. Assessment of achievement must be planned and implemented as an integral part of the curriculum. So actually, for us, in open and distance learning, I know we have this problem that many of us here really we are still handling open and distance learning activities as if we are handling a, excuse me,
Start it again.
as if we are handling a conventional system. Oh, you get it? But in the open and distance learning, what is expected to happen is that the learning objectives, are you getting it? Hello?
Yes, sir. It was distorted a bit. It
All right.
distorted a bit,
Yeah.
but it's better now.
Okay. The learning objective should determine the kind of assessment questions that you come.
Yeah. Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
And actually,
Yes.
it's a kind of a circle. The intended learning outcome should determine the content of the course material.
Yeah.
It should also determine the content and the type of
Okay.
assessment.
Yes.
Okay, so that everything will be properly done. And unless
Yes.
it's not done, assessment will be faulty in the real sense of it. Now there's an activity here. You have to examine 7 assessment tools.
Assessment tools.
Yes.
So that was where I have a question, sir.
Okay.
When they said 7 assessment tools, when I looked at it, we're not giving any assessment tools. So am I to research for assessment tools? Because we're not giving anyone in the write-up.
Tools supposed to have an hyperlink, but it's not working. Do you have it working on your own?
No, it did not in my own too.
Okay, then that means there is an error. That means that it's supposed to take you to an hyperlink here. You will have seen the tools in the hyperlink. I think I have to take note of that and let them know.
Because when I saw it, I was also trying to figure out why.
Yeah, I get it. All right, definition of evaluation. Evaluation is the process of making a valid judgment about the worth of a student's product or performance. Evaluation is a continuous process of inquiry concerned with the study, appraisal, and improvement of all aspects of educational problems. I hope you get what we are saying there.
Yes. Yes, sir.
So you know that there are we have touched 2 different types of definition of evaluation now. The evaluation on the part of the student and the evaluation of the education.
On the part of the policy.
Yeah.
Even the curriculum.
Yeah. When we are talking about educational program, curriculum will automatically be involved.
Oh, yes, sir.
So evaluation leads to decision making among several alternatives. The scope of evaluation includes value judgment, extent to which educational objectives have been ascertained, effectiveness of appraisal of instructions, and then identifying learners' strengths and weaknesses. Wow. Okay. Now, what are the importance of evaluation or assessment? One, it helps in instructional management. For example, if I'm giving you assessment and I'm giving you feedback, it will be helping me to know whether you are learning or you are not learning. If you have learning difficulties, I should be able to diagnose your learning difficulties, and I can use the report of such evaluation to replan what we are going to do in the next semester.
Yes, sir.
So that's why we say assessment helps to make plans and decisions on instructional management or activities. Mm-hmm. Then assessment is also used for selection. Mm-hmm. So, for example, people who wants to go for higher institution, such exams like NECO, WAEC, SSE, GCE, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. All of them are mostly selection exams because the result is going to determine whether
they'll be taken or not.
Will be taken.
They'll be taken or not.
Yeah. And then placement. Yeah. Placement is almost like selection, but there is a very slight difference. So the idea is that if you do not pass, we cannot take you to the next level of instruction. You may have to remain, people who fail will have to repeat that semester. It's a kind of placement.
Okay.
So then in some other ODL institutions that are really...
Sorry, sir, I have a question, sir.
Yeah.
In the placement, when I was reading placement, my mind was like when you test students, you are able to place them in whether their weakness and their strength. Like now, if you know that, okay, this, when you do the placement exams, you're able to assess, you are able to diagnose whether this child is weak, and then he needs remedial assistance, and then the very good ones, they need to be in this class so that they won't be that poor in the collective when they are together. So that was my own interpretation of placement until I heard yours.
You can use it in that way too. And then let me give you this one I wanted to say. Now, I was talking about other, for example, there are some open universities in the world, like you don't need to have, you know, what we do, I used to make a fun of NOUN, and I would say NOUN is a half open, half closed institution. And the basic reason is that the core concept of openness is not practiced in NOUN. Not the fault of the university, but the fault of the society.
Yes.
In most open universities, you are not expected to have 5 credits, including mathematics and English, before you are admitted.
That's right.
What they do is when you tell them you want to come for degree, they give you a placement exam.
Yes.
So your
We
score,
discussed it in the first class.
your score on that exam determines the level you will start from.
You discussed it in the first module. You said it in the first module.
Yeah, so that is where placement work the way it should work. Now, classification again. So, classification refers to cases in which categories are essentially unordered. Placement focuses on cases in which category represent ordered level of education without rejection. And selection refers to cases in which students are accepted or rejected. All things, at times you must make a decision that results in a learner being assigned to one of several different but unordered categories, jobs, or programs. So you use your evaluation to class your student. Now let's look, for example, a student can have a first class. That's a kind of classification, or a 2-1, or a 2-2, or a third class. That's a kind of classification. Now, number 5, you use assessment for guidance and counseling.
Yes.
Yeah. Again, this is something we don't do in Nigeria because we don't usually recognize and make our counselors function the way they are supposed to function. At the end of every semester, assessment, in fact, as assessments are taken, they should be referred to the guidance counselor who can always students, why are you, they will be able to track students who have been doing better and all of a sudden is dropping.
Yes, and the reasons why it is dropping.
So they will be able to call the student, sit the student down, and do some counseling, and sometimes they may succeed in knowing why the student is dropping or not. Then the final one is credentializing and certification.
Okay.
Yeah, so at the end, we give you certificate showing that you have gone to this level of education or not. So that is in the activity here.
Activity.
That is, you are referred to an online something, peterlilejad.com/WP content for purposes of assessment. You can read it, and that's why you are a PhD student. Though unfortunately, this course they are just going to do e-exam, so you cannot even express yourself as much as you would have loved to.
Yeah.
Now, types of assessment. Okay, you have what we call assessment for learning.
Assessment for learning.
Yeah. And mostly what we mean by assessment for learning is formative assessment. In other words, when you are doing assessment for the purpose of making students to learn. That's why they call it assessment for learning. Then you have assessment of learning. And that is when your assessment becomes summative. That's determining the extent to which a student has learned. So the difference between the two is what?
Difference for learning and
Of
learning.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's the difference between the two of them?
One is for continuous, like what we use for the continuous assessment, and for one is for like in the process of teaching.
No, your process of teaching will still fall under continuous assessment. Let me put it in a better way for you. One is for continuous assessment of students' learning, while the other is the final assessment of students.
That's like the exam.
Yeah, that's something like your end of semester exam.
Exam.
It is summative.
That's the summit.
Your TMAs are formative. Or let me say they are supposed to be formative. Then the third one is assessment as learning. Now, assessment as learning actually is not talking of assessment as a discipline of study. Do you get it now?
Yes, sir.
It's not talking about like at least some people can have their PhD in educational assessment. So what they are studying is assessment as learning. In other words, they are learning assessment itself.
For a discipline.
Yeah, they are learning it as a discipline.
Okay, as it is.
Okay, so we've gone over that, and unit 2.
Instructional based.
Or let me say, do you have any questions on unit 1?
It's that that place I got confused. Assessment for learning and learning. That's by the time I go through, I will get it too. I have my jottings.
The assessment for learning, assessment of learning, and assessment as learning. It's just a play on prepositions.
Okay.
Assessment of learning means you are assessing if student is learning or not. And that is the formative. So that's assessment for learning. You are assessing in order that the students will learn. An assessment of learning is your summative assessment to determine the extent to which student has learned. An assessment as learning is assessment as a subject of discipline that somebody can specialize on. All right.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Assessment, we are now in unit 2, instructional based assessment modes. Now, assessment helps you to attain maximally objective set out for your effective learning. So in this unit, you will be taken through the form of assessments that are embedded into the study and that will help you to have full understanding. So mostly they are what we call self-assessment or in-test assessment or teacher mark assessment. So we begin with the in-text stroke self-assessment. Learning targets should offer students ways to think about evaluating their learning. So applying criteria to their own work in progress, discussion with their peers about their work, reflection on their work after its completion fulfills that.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, students should be taught effective self-assessment techniques. In other words, should be able to assess whether you are learning or not. So, for us, this is a kind of a pragmatic shift in a climate where students have full knowledge of the learning goals. So, for this to work, the student from the beginning should know what goals are expected of them, and they should be able to relate their learning goals to their self-assessment.
Yes.
So this will help them to know whether they are improving or not. And then the second type is what we call the computer marked assessment or the tutor marked assessment. So, and if you look into your course material, you will see a lot of self-assessment activities. That's what they're expected to do. Now, apart from the self-assessment, learners should complete stipulated tutor or computer marked assessment. Now, what we have done is when this material was written, we really need to still edit this material in preparation for next semester. You know, each student is expected, as at the time we were writing this material, each student is expected to write 4 tutor mark assessments of 20 questions each, not 10.
Wow.
Then we pick the best 3 for the student and we reduce it to 10 marks each. But it was becoming a problem even for the academic staff, because you have to sit down every semester and set 80 multiple choice items for each course you are handling. So it became a problem for some of the teachers that are handling 7 courses, 10 courses, 14 courses at a go. So I think it was last semester that we started the idea of, okay, let's go down. Instead of 4 TMEs, let them take 3. So you don't have a choice again. So if you are taking 3, set 10 questions instead of 20. So that reduced the number of questions from 80 to 30.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. I don't know how I would have coped.
Cope with what?
80 questions.
So those who are setting the question, how would they have coped? You are thinking of yourself as a student. When I was handling courses directly, I was handling 32 courses. So imagine have to set 80 questions as tutor mark assignment, and have to 100 and 200 level questions. I have to set 120 questions for 2-unit course, 150 questions for 3-unit course. So it's only now. We usually tell our lecturers, those who are coming, you people, you have come to NOUN when you are enjoying. Because at least it's only in my department now that we have people handling 11, 12, 13 courses. In most other departments, they will not handle more than 7.
Okay.
But
so all these activities, am I to answer all of them?
Yeah, it's for your own personal development.
I mean, right? Do I put them on the discussion forum and write on them?
No.
Like
the discussion forum topics are deliberately put on the discussion forum, except where that assignment says go to the discussion forum to discuss this.
Like this, like the one that you put, that is it's an assignment it's an assignment.
Yeah.
So how do I submit it, sir? Do I reply? Because once you open the question, it brings out that text of a writing sheet. So that means it's replying you as a text.
Yeah, you are replying as a text. Because it's supposed to be a discussion between the students.
And that's why. I thought it was a discussion. So, but when I opened it to try to attempt it, it popped up like a response. So I came out.
You will type your own response and submit to the forum. So as other people go to the forum, they read it, they respond to you, or they put their own submission.
Okay.
All right. I'm already one. We have just about 9 minutes more. So
we're almost done.
Yeah, we're almost done. That means because I started 10 o'clock, they are using 10 o'clock for us. Okay, no. They are not using 10.
Maybe we'll start semester exam next time, sir.
No, okay. We might not be able to go through it.
Yeah. When do we meet, sir, before the time goes?
No, don't worry. You still have 8 minutes.
8 minutes. Okay, I thought I had 3 minutes more. That's why I said, let me rush and get my next time.
Okay. Yeah, I think since we have been using Wednesday and Saturday, maybe we'll stick to Wednesday and Saturday. But you are starting exam next week, Friday.
Exam? I thought they said it was moved to June.
Oh, okay. Your PhD, the PhD exams have been moved. You are right. Okay, you have a luxury.
Yes, we have.
All right, then that means we could still keep on with the class without stress. All right, okay. I'll try to keep up Wednesday and Saturday with you so that we can finish up on time. So by the time we finish up, then I can rest and you can rest. All right, so do you want us to discuss anything specifically so that we'll not jump into the next one? All right, let me ask you, what has been your experience so far?
With the experience, this the online experience.
Okay, let's start from the online experience.
Okay. I think it's I like the flexibility. Flexibility in the sense that you could work at an agreed time. Like somebody like me,
that is possible because we are very few in the class.
Yes.
Yes, 807, we should be having about 3,000 plus students.
Everybody gets to fix a time.
But
that
will not be possible when everybody. The only thing is that if you are talking now, there are two aspects to online learning.
Yes.
You have the synchronous and the asynchronous. Have you come across those concepts?
You taught me in the first module.
Okay, so the synchronous is what we are doing right now. Anybody who wants to partake in this class must be on at this time. But they are synchronous. By the time we finish, I don't know whether have they uploaded the videos of the first few classes.
No.
Okay, because
it's the old ones that are still there.
Okay, they are supposed to have uploaded the classes we have taken so that students who are not able to come to the class can still listen and watch what we did in class. So that's part of the whole idea. That's why we call it asynchronous. So that's not simultaneous. So the highest class we have in 807 so far was 95 students. And
but you would give the time and everybody would fall.
Yeah, everyone of them will now fall into that. And we are doing 5 to 6 for them. But that class is always rowdy because students will never listen. Mute your microphone, no way. So those who are studying at home, you can hear their children crying. Those who are listening to their lecture in the motor park, you can hear.
It's because of the time. That 5 to 6, people are moving around. Why ours is better because 10 o'clock, if you have kids, the kids must have gone to bed.
But the issue is this. All they needed to do is to mute their microphone except when they want.
Someone else don't know how to do it. I just learned muting my microphone today. When I was like, when you were leaving and coming in, I now saw microphone mute, microphone unmuted, tap, speak, tap, listen. I was like, eh? I was just fiddling with it. I did not know I could mute my microphone.
All right, I can understand. So I keep on sending chat messages, mute your microphone. All students should mute their microphone. So,
they don't know.
in fact, I could hear somebody tell me, why should we mute our microphone? No. But you see, all the background noises filters into the class because these microphones are very powerful.
Yeah.
We may not know how powerful they are, but if somebody dropped anything in this room, okay, you heard when my phone was ringing.
Yes.
That's how powerful the microphones are. They pick almost every noise. And that will automatically, now imagine noise coming from 15 students.
90. No. That's a lot.
so most of the time that class is crazy like hell. All right, let me continue. What about your other courses that are not online? Or are all your courses online?
No, this is the only course I have online.
All right, that's good.
It's those in planning that they have about 4 or 5 of their courses with Dr. Anegbedio.
Yeah, because she's one of
Professor.
See, there are only 3 of us in this university that are crazy about this online thing, and she's one of them. Wow, it looks as if it's going to rain in Abuja tonight. And
sir, you're in Abuja, sir?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were in Lagos.
No, I'm in Abuja. And then it's going to be lovely. The heat has been terrible.
The heat, even in Lagos, has been horrible.
And imagine you in Lagos, and what will we in Abuja be saying?
Yeah, I don't know.
you don't even need to know. You only have, for you to know, you must experience it. And that thing is crazy. So I'm hearing wind movement outside. It's creating a windstorm.
And it's going to make it, that means it's going to be a bit cool this night.
Yeah, if eventually it rains and the wind did not just blow away.
That one is annoying. I don't like that one. It's like just like tantalizing you. You're excited and you look forward to having a nice rest, and then all of a sudden it just disappears. It just dissipates, like that, just disappears. And I'm like, where did it go?
All right, yeah. It's fine having you on. The other 2 people did not come up today. Only God knows why they didn't come up. Did you call them or you didn't?
I've done everything. Even I screenshot, draw arrows on the step-by-step procedure. I even called them today, send them text message.
I think the 2 of them were in last Wednesday.
And they were like Mohammed.
Yeah, Mohammed was in last Wednesday.
Last week. They said person is Gladys Akilo Sotu. I don't know.
She was in on Wednesday.
She hasn't come up at all.
Are you sure?
That was Yemisi.
Okay, that was Yemisi. Yeah. All right, it's okay then. Keep on getting in touch with them, and
I will, sir. I will definitely.
We'll meet on
do that.
By God's grace.
Okay, sir.
All right.
Thank you so much. There's no need to remind you now. Our class is getting stable.
Okay, just keep on reminding me because I have a lot of things upstairs.
All right. Thank you so much, sir.
Good night.
Good night, sir.